So you're thinking about SEO to make a little bit of money online. Now you're looking at making maybe $5,000, $10,000 per month, while potentially even keeping your full-time job. Now, only a handful of clients are going to get you to that 5 to 10K per month. Members of my training program ask me all the time, should they start off by freelancing or should they start off by beginning an SEO agency? Like most professional SEOs, the answer I'm going to give you to that question is that, well, it depends. My name is Caleb Alku. I started SEO freelancing in 2016, and within 3 years, I had built a 7-figure agency. And this is, in 2016, barely knowing what the word SEO stood for. My goal in this video is to help people like you who are just getting started and help you decide whether starting as a freelancer or starting as an agency makes more sense for you. And based on my experiences, to break down the advantages of each potential approach you could take. Because it's the most common, I wanted here to start with the freelancing SEO path, okay? So for an up-and-coming freelancer, maybe you're going to start SEO as a full-time job. Maybe you're just going to start it as a side hustle to supplement your existing full-time income. But for the most part, building a team in these early days is not going to be a core focus of yours. A freelancer doesn't usually have a team. You might have 1 or 2 core members that are helping you, such as an editor for AI projects, but most of the work in managing your clients will be done by you. You'll maintain direct client relationships, client-facing responsibilities. The good news in that is when you maintain a direct client relationship, that usually improves the churn rate. Fewer clients are going to leave you because you're directly engaging with them on a regular basis. As long as you remember not to go too long without communicating with every single one of your clients. No client wants to pay you and then have you ghost them for 3 months while they're wondering what you're doing. But as you communicate with them frequently, you'll build a personal relationship, and that personal relationship will go a long way if you have a rough month or two, or if a Google algorithm comes out that actually undoes some of the work you've done. Freelancing also allows more flexibility. And once you have a handful of clients under your belt, you're going to have a lot more choice of projects to take on additional clients because it's only income for yourself. You're not building a whole team with a bunch of employees. So that also means, of course, that there's less overhead. You simply have fewer employees. You don't need an office space. All of the things that come with having a large team, you're not going to have to deal with any of that. Plus, you have the lower stress of providing income for someone else. One of the hardest things that I've had to do is lay people off because either their skill set was no longer a good fit for where the agency was, or we were hitting a tough time in terms of the number of clients we had. The biggest downside, of course, is the limited capacity for scaling. It's going to be very difficult to scale to a 7-figure agency if you're maintaining the client relationships yourself. You're also not likely going to grow to a 10 to 20 member team if you have a freelancer mindset. That being said, most agencies, as I mentioned, did start with this freelancer mindset and built from there. Now, to succeed as a freelancer, your first few clients are going to be the hardest one to get. And they're likely going to require that you get uncomfortable. So get used to it. Get used to being uncomfortable. Those first few clients, attend your local business networking events, the Chamber of Commerce, and join that and attend every single event they have. Create an Upwork profile. Any other questions about Upwork? I have a lot of content on this channel about how you can make Upwork work for you. And do not be afraid to say no to clients and requests. Remember, anytime they ask you to do anything, you have to do it. You don't have a team, so your service offering by necessity has to be somewhat smaller. Now, on the other hand, if we talked about starting an SEO agency, usually this is going to have to be your full-time job. But you could still potentially start as a side hustle if you need a full-time job to provide income, but I wouldn't usually recommend that. If you're starting an SEO agency, it needs to be your focus. And the focus of your agency is building a team. Here, you're going to have client managers who are doing the majority of the work engaging with your clients, not you directly. You'll have editors who can manage the AI, the ChatGPT. You have fulfillment experts who can help with web development or quick graphic design tasks or other things that might come up in your SEO agency. And of course, you're going to have a sales team. Now, you'll spend a lot less of your time in daily activities, in activities like prospecting and client management and fulfillment, but you're going to have to manage your team. And that team means more overhead. More overhead directly translates to lower profit margins. Okay. That being said, you will have a much greater ability to scale and to expand your offers. You have a large enough team that if a client asks for something that you're not sure how to do, well, that could just mean that you have a new team member that you have to bring on board. So that focus is going to be, as I mentioned, managing your team. And one of the key ways you're going to do that is by building processes and building procedures for your agency. A lot less of your personal time is going to be spent doing things once those processes are built. But all of this overhead, all of this team, you're going to need more clients simply to cover that overhead. So you might need 5 to 10 clients before you're even breaking even. Whereas if you're freelancing, 5 to 10 clients provides $10,000 a month. So in terms of landing clients, you have a lot more flexibility here. You can do everything that I talked about for a freelancer, but on top of that, you're going to want to think about building a brand, launching your website, utilizing social media channels to build up a name for yourself. On top of that, you'll want to think about running paid ads with a funnel underneath it to find people who are interested in signing up for your services. You have to consider legal considerations, what the health insurance looks like for your particular state. You'll have to talk to an accountant and figure out how to structure your business and how that should work with payroll and all these other aspects. Now, once you get to a point where you have funnels, you have clients, you have client websites, you're running ads. Go High Level is a software that we use. It's absolutely fantastic in managing all of this in one place, including automations. So before you get too far in starting an SEO agency, you're going to want to start by creating a business plan. This is going to be hugely important because the key question of a business plan is how many months of runtime do you have? If you had no clients, what are your costs and what's your cash on hand? And how long can you keep running before you run out of money? And how many clients do you need to get before you start to break even? Next, I'm going to record a video on exactly how to create an AI agency business plan. Okay, so subscribe and turn on notifications if that's something you're interested in so you don't miss it. I have a lot of experience in my prior life in the corporate America in creating effective business plans. So, making this decision, should you be a freelancer at the beginning or should you dive straight into being an SEO agency? So number one, in making this decision, how much money do you want to bring in? We already talked about the long-term prospects of the SEO agency are much, much higher than the long-term prospects of a freelancer. If your life goal is to make $100,000, $150,000 a year, the freelancer route can get you there. If your life goal is to make $1 million a year, then you're probably going to need to think about the SEO agency. The other question is how much money do you currently have or how much money are you currently making? Because if you're absolutely broke, then you either, one, need to think about getting a full-time job so that you can pay your bills, or two, start freelancing as a side hustle. Okay, so whether you need to think about a full-time job or you can just dive full-time into freelancing, if you think about yourself as broke, it depends on how broke you mean, okay? So if you're literally worried about making your rent payments and buying groceries, and honestly, I know a lot of gurus are going to be horrified by this advice, but if that's where you are, then you should seriously consider getting a full-time job first and side hustling a SEO freelancing career. That is literally what I did and a lot of people I know. It's very difficult to build a successful, even freelancing business in SEO if you're concerned about paying rent. So if you do decide to dive straight into the SEO agency, you need to make sure you have enough cash coming in or a pile of cash so that you have at least several months of runway, ideally 6 months. What you don't want to do is start an agency, build a team, and then 3 or 4 months from now, you have to start laying people off because you're not growing clients quickly enough and your cash starts to run out. Freelancing is also a really good place to start if you're relatively new in SEO. A client who hires a freelancer honestly has lower expectations than a client who starts off by hiring an SEO agency. And you're given a little bit more leeway to learn about SEO with your new first client. On top of that, I mentioned you're going to have this personal client relationship as a freelancer, And that personal relationship will also give you more leeway for learning. As long as you freely admit mistakes, explain why they happened, and understand what you're going to change so they don't happen again. I'm not saying that by starting off as a freelancer, you're allowed to make all the mistakes and your clients will never leave you. Obviously, that's not it at all. You still need to learn and get better and better at SEO. So let me talk about what happens to most people who start this. They begin as a freelancer, land a handful of clients, and then transition to an SEO agency. That's generally what I recommend for most people. Now, in this beginning, especially if you're not super familiar with SEO, provide your own fulfillment. Do everything yourself, at least one time. The fastest way to learn SEO is by doing SEO. So if you do all of the SEO tasks necessary to have success with an SEO engagement, you're going to very quickly become an SEO expert. And when you're ready, when you have enough cash flow coming in and you have your second, third, fourth client, the first tasks to outsource are time-consuming, easy-to-do tasks. This is things like citations, link building, and I want to give you a resource that we use. It's right here, icecreamtruck.shop. Okay? Now, once you've done that, that offloads a lot of your fulfillment time and focus that on building processes for how you do the rest of fulfillment. Now, to start building these processes, what I need you to do is break everything you do into easy step-by-step instructions. For each step, you're going to want written directions. You're going to want to include any login information or ChatGPT prompts that are needed, that are helpful. And this is the key, a video of you doing that step. That video should stay 30 to 60 seconds in length. If it ends up being longer than a minute, split that into multiple steps. Every step should be very simple, very easy to do, and very quick videos. And then, once you're consistently over $10,000 a month, start thinking about bringing on board your first team member. Your first team member is likely going to be an editor to help you manage the AI workload and to help you generate more quality content. Now, at this stage, do not hire an SEO expert, okay? You built the processes, you built the procedures, you're the SEO expert. You don't want someone else to come in and do things their way when you spent all this time and effort building processes and procedures that you want them to follow. So hire an editor, a newspaper editor, something like that. For client and brand management, Go High Level is the tool that we use almost every day in our agency. I'll put a free trial sign-up link in the description if you're interested in it. So starting as a freelancer and then leveraging that cash flow to grow into an agency is the most common model for building an SEO agency. It's also a lot less risky than taking a pile of $50,000 in cash, hiring a bunch of team members, and then hoping that you're going to be able to land clients. By the time you convert into an SEO agency, you'll have clients, you'll have a way to land more clients, and you'll know what you're doing. So that's why I recommend that most of you watching this video should do that. So what that means is you should start working to get your first freelancing SEO client right now, okay? What's stopping you from doing it right now? Comment below with what's stopping you. And what I'm going to do is reply to your comment and explain why that's just an excuse and you should start doing it now. Okay, there's almost no good reason why you can't start now. Now, I'm currently working on a video series about how AI has changed my SEO agency's model. So subscribe so you don't miss it, okay? AI has been incredibly helpful in SEO freelancing and as an SEO agency. Basically, AI has changed how we do everything in SEO. I appreciate your time for watching. If you got value from this video, please give me a hand with that YouTube algorithm. Give me a like, give me a comment below. The very next video I'm going to record is going to be focused on how to create a business plan for an AI SEO agency. So if you're interested in an SEO agency, make sure you catch that next video.